Hello friends, it's Pam here again. How are you doing? I have a cup of tea and I'm actually going to drink it. Well, we'll see. I have a question for you. I have been thinking about this a lot lately. You know how sometimes one does, it just comes around and it's become kind of a pressing issue for me. When do we stop worrying? I'm thinking particularly as parents, but it could be about anything. When is the day when we get to stop worrying? When is everything going to be okay? I used to think with my kids, well, once they get through this grade or once we get to the summer, it'll be okay. When they graduate, just got to get over that finish line. Just have to find a job, one thing after another. And I'm starting to realize, which many of you might be shaking your head at me like, or nodding your head, she finally gets it. If you're always worrying, there's never an end point when everything's okay, right? Because there's always going to be something to worry about. It might be a big thing or a little thing. And what's really brought this home to me is in the women's Bible study I'm in, we are studying the book of Luke. And in Luke chapter 12, if you're a Bible reading person, I would encourage you, there's so much rich goodness in Luke chapter 12. And the verses that I jotted down here, Luke 12, 6-7, 22 to 32. But I want to focus on verses 24 to 26. Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable are you than birds? Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to your life? Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest? And later on in the passage, it talks about how your Heavenly Father knows what you need. And it says, your Father has gladly chosen to give you the kingdom. There are just so many encouraging verses that talk about how God, He's got it, right? So why do I keep worrying? Well, a lot of times it's because the things have happened. It's because I struggle to trust God. I think maybe I need to be as vigilant or more vigilant than God. And somehow I can prevent things from happening, right? When am I going to really be able to breathe? So I jotted down a couple things so I wouldn't forget. But the other day, my husband Dylan said to me, he said, if you don't find a way to stop, to put this down, to stop worrying, you're not even going to be around for your kids, right? Like, forget worrying about them. Like, you're not going to be here because your health is declining because of the worry. And I think he's seen that maybe better than I have, right? I've struggled with intense worry and fear since my kids were teenagers. It wasn't as bad before that. I used to kind of think that people who were anxious and worried were, what's wrong with them, right? Just live your life. But I often don't sleep, and it's not really getting better. I'm often startled awake by bad dreams. I have a pounding heart. I don't even know why I'm awake, but I immediately think something bad has happened, right? And I can't get back to sleep. My worry is a constant nagging companion. I am only able to breathe, to feel content when I know they are okay. And I don't know if they'll ever watch this. And if they do, I don't want them to feel bad about how much I worry. But things that happen, they affect everyone, right? And for a mother's heart, it affects you so much. Now, I suspect, I haven't seen a counselor, or as they call them, therapist nowadays. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I suspect I have some PTSD or trauma around this because of how I react and because of how easily I'm triggered into this fight or flight freeze response around worry. Because things have occurred that I was afraid of. I worry for good reason sometimes, but that doesn't mean that the worry is good. It's not, it's bad. I have been convicted lately that I do need to find a way to let it go, to drop the heavy burden of constant worry. I'm reading to you from my journal, basically. To let my heart rate somehow go down to normal. Because it's damaged me. Like body, mind, and soul. I feel almost like acid of worry has eaten away holes in who I am. And I don't know how to get rid of it. No matter what happens, it's mostly out of my hands at this point. Both my kids are young adults who don't live at home. And they're carrying on with their lives, and I'm there for them, and they know that. But I'm always there in my mind. I'm always there for them. They don't probably know that. My worry is what I always thought of as awareness. I would kind of think, I'm not worried, I'm just aware. I'm thinking ahead. I am looking around the bend because I'm going to tackle whatever is there that's going to want to hurt my kids. Whether it's their friends. I mean, and let's just admit it. Sometimes our kids have stupid friends. Okay? Anyway, and I'm just super aware, I would think, right? I'm trying to fend off any danger, to plan for the hour, for the day, for the week, for the year. But that's not my job. That's their job. And God has said that it's his job and he is taking care of things. However, I don't trust God a lot of the time. I think he's not paying attention. He doesn't care enough. He can't possibly care as much as I do. And so he's not going to be as vigilant as I am. Honestly, that's what I think. And I know it's ridiculous because I know God, I know what he's done. I know the prayers he's answered. I know the provision he's made. I know his word says that he, even as he clothes the lilies, right? He's going to take care of us. And we are worth so much more than the sparrows. And he talks about knowing when a sparrow falls, right? I can't drop the ball. Don't I need to stay fully vigilant in my role as a mother? And if something happens, isn't it my fault? And I think sometimes that's a bit of the problem, right? That I feel like if I don't figure it out, that it's my fault somehow. And I do think parents have a responsibility. I really don't get this idea of just do what you absolutely have to for your kids and let them figure it out. And when they're 18, they're kind of on their own. No, that's not real life. And sometimes I think people can be really selfish and not think about their kids at all, and their kids feel disconnected and maybe they need a little more attention. But I'm kind of on the farther end of the spectrum, so worry has made it hard for me to enjoy things. For example, trips, going on a little trip, even going to Jasper for the day, I'm always thinking I should be home, I should be ready. And then leaving my kids sometimes. And I know you're probably thinking, man, she is ridiculous. She's got it bad. And I do. I'm confessing here, okay? This is real life. I am a mess. So welcome to the mess that is Pam and my poor addled brain filled with worry. But worry is sapping the joy. It has sapped the joy, like bleeding and leaching all the color out of something, right? And then there's just this dry husk of nothingness blowing in the wind, and so that's not fair for me. That's not fair for anybody, right? That I'm with either, because that worry kind of, seeps over onto them and eats away at their joy as well. I want to break out of this worry. It never ends. Here I thought, when they graduate, it will be okay, right? I talked about that at the beginning. When they arrive at their destination, if they're driving somewhere. And how do I put this burden down for good? And if you struggle with worry, how can we put this burden down for good? Something to think about. How do I move on and still love my kids, but let them live their lives and not be utterly consumed with how they're doing at each moment of the day? I mean, when they're little, it makes sense, right? Even when they're teenagers, they sometimes need us more. And all of our kids are different. And something that I've struggled with is a little bit of jealousy sometimes for parents whose kids just seem to thrive and not really have any struggles, That's not my story. But my kids are wonderful. They're going to figure it out. It might not be in the way that I want or think is the best or whatever. And I'll always be here for them. But if I really want to be here for the long term, I have to somehow improve, let this go, and trust God, and read those verses over and think that if He's caring for the birds, He's caring for us, right? And just pray and trust Him. And sometimes it's good to reach out and ask for help and ask a friend, or, sometimes on YouTube, there's friends you can ask for prayer. Help me pray for my child, And that can be really helpful too, just knowing that someone else is out there thinking of them and praying for them. So let me know what you think. Do you struggle with worry, or do you have it all figured out? I want to know either way. What are some ideas you have for letting worry go and being able to live life more freely, more joyfully, and more lovingly? Anyway, that's my little video for today. I wanted to chat about it because it's just been on my mind, right in the forefront. I hope you have an awesome day, whatever you're doing. Thanks for watching. And if you can hit the like on the way out, that would be great. And I'll see you again really soon. Bye.